That's how I look at it. What makes him get more respect than me? You my next door neighbor, you know, I tell him, you got yours from your family. I got mine from the ground up, from hard work and dedication.
Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest ever. He's a brilliant defensive fighter. His speed, his boxing savvy, he's just a savant. He's just something special, no question about it. But I gotta look at the Sugar Ray Leonards of the world.
Floyd's way is safe. Not in a punk, but it's like the safe way, like nothing ain't gonna go wrong. But that's how he fight. That's his characteristic.
Floyd Mayweather erupted after Stephen A. Smith questioned his legacy and boldly claimed Terence Crawford could beat him. Smith argued that Floyd is not the greatest fighter ever, insisting Sugar Ray Leonard was far superior. He criticized Floyd's resume, saying his best wins came at lightweight and that he never dominated in higher divisions. Smith also dismissed Floyd's victory over Canelo Alvarez as unimpressive. These remarks triggered outrage from Mayweather, who refuses to let such criticisms pass without a fight.
Skill set. It's who you do it against.
Your level of competition. Is it possible that he's so far beyond his level of competition that he made it look easy?
Well, I think he did as a lightweight. When he went up to the welterweight division, not so much. You know what I'm saying? Now, if
taking out Canelo the way he took out.
Well, he just gave him a boxing lesson, but Canelo was 22 years old. See, I remember
That's an excuse, though. I don't like this, like he's 22, he's too young.
I will tell you this. Well, you know, you do have to take that into consideration.
The guy had 100 fights.
Well, let me explain. You have to take that into consideration when boxing is the issue. Now, if he got knocked on his ass, that's different. But when he simply got schooled when you swinging a punch and Floyd is tapping you on your shoulder saying, I'm behind you, that's a problem. You understand what I'm saying? That's just a skill, like, you know,
we could credit Floyd with that.
Of course, I am crediting. I'm saying he's a brilliant boxer. You know, Floyd knew how to move before you even threw the damn punch. You see what I'm saying? You got to be a veteran to know how to overcome that. You can't put a novice into the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather. You understand? He's going to school you. What I'm saying to you is that if you want to make an argument on Floyd Money Mayweather's half, which I'm not summarily dismissing, I would tell you it's this. Floyd Money Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Boxing analyst Daoud Bey gave a thoughtful breakdown comparing Mayweather with Crawford, especially after Crawford's stunning win over Canelo Alvarez. Bey admitted that as a fan, he slightly favored Crawford in a fantasy matchup, but stressed the need for balance in comparisons. Crawford's victory over Canelo was historic, yet Bey reminded everyone that Floyd himself dominated Canelo when they fought back when Canelo was still developing. He emphasized that both fighters brought something unique to the sport, and dismissing Floyd's greatness is unfair. For Bey, the truth lies in the middle. Crawford's win was spectacular, but Floyd's mastery against Canelo was equally legendary.
It's about it a little bit better than Floyd in this sense. Floyd will when Floyd fought Canelo, he was standing right there. He wasn't running and all of that. He wasn't doing all of the stuff that they say, oh, runner, Mayweather's a runner. He wasn't doing that versus Canelo. He was right there. And I can't even really remember Canelo catching him like that, like with nothing. With Bud, I could remember Canelo catching Bud a couple times, but Bud gave him the, all right, put your foot out, what's up? Boxing turn, boxing turn, boxing turn. And was really standing there and giving it to him with another type of energy. The energy is more so all right, what's up? You can't beat me. Floyd energy be bop, bop, I'm better than you. You see what I'm saying? They don't really be respecting that all the time. They'll acknowledge it yo, I ain't gonna lie, he hard to catch. But they be nah, you didn't beat me up. Bud go about his fights in a way where as though the Mexican fan base gotta be I ain't gonna lie, Canelo, he hollered at you. He came at you too. He didn't just be better than you. He was better, and then he was all right, I'm gonna come at you. And I think they really respect that. Shit, I respect it. I don't think it's not, I think the less you get hit, the better. I'm always gonna take it that way. So, you know what I'm saying? As a boxing fan, the kind of boxing fan that I am, I would have leaned towards Floyd's performance, but Bud's performance was if I'm a casual fan, I'd rather watch the way.
Trainer Boozy Ennis passionately defended Crawford's legacy. Responding to critics, he highlighted that Crawford consistently takes risks, never shying away from dangerous opponents. In his view, Crawford thrives under pressure, and that's what separates him from many others in his era. By constantly challenging himself, he's earned his place among boxing's elite. Ennis insisted that fans stop diminishing Crawford's accomplishments and recognize his rare versatility, daring spirit, and extraordinary success.
He could have got the stop. He'll tell you that if he had to sit down a little bit more. And what I tell you, Terence can fight, and he can box. And he can fight. He'll fight that side. He take chances, man. You know what I mean? And that's how you be great, man. And he one of the greatest out there now. I think he's great. I think he's the best out there right now in that division. You know what I mean?
What's left?
For Terence?
Yeah.
If I was Terence, I would retire. That's what I would do. He did everything, man. He's done everything, man. You know what I mean? Look how many titles he done won. All that stuff, you know what I mean? I think I'll go off one in the sunset, man. You know what I mean? You don't need no more money. You know what I mean?
Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, shared his belief that his fighter still has more history to make. He suggested Crawford could take on 2 or 3 more fights before retirement, possibly even moving up to 160 pounds. For Bomac, this isn't about chasing validation, it's about solidifying an already Hall of Fame legacy. He stressed that Crawford has already etched his name into history by becoming undisputed across multiple weight classes. But the possibility of adding championships in higher divisions excites both the team and the fans, proving that Crawford is still hungry for greatness.
The second time. You can't take it away from him either.
Does this one mean more to you than the other ones?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It gives us the opportunity as a team to go into the Hall of Fame. Instead of a fighter going in there, instead of a coach going in there, it gives us a better chance to go in there as a team.
Well, congrats on that. I know that means a lot to you and the team.
Definitely that.
You know, I asked Bud this after the fight 2 weeks ago. Would he consider this his signature win? He said, yeah, one of them. Do you think that was his signature win of his career?
Well, the last fight?
Yeah, the Canelo win.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was the underdog. Everybody thought that, you know, he was going to get beat.
What's up?
He was going to get beat. Surprising.
So what's next for Bud? What do you want to see him do?
I just want to see him, you know, spend time with his family because, you know, training for a fight, you be gone a long time. You're going away from the family. It can take a toll on you after a while. So,
as his trainer, do you feel like he should just sail off into the sunset after this monumental
well,
win?
you know what? They made it look so easy. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit, got 2-3 more in him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Training camp will try harder.
Former champion Timothy Bradley spoke with emotion about Crawford's impact on the next generation. He explained how young fighters often face self-doubt, especially when critics undermine them. Crawford became a living example of perseverance, proving doubters wrong time after time. Bradley described him as more than a champion, he is a source of belief and courage. By becoming a multiple-time undisputed champion, Crawford showed young fighters that hard work and determination can silence critics. In Bradley's words, Crawford isn't just a winner, he's a role model.
You're a true inspiration to the youth, man. Anybody that's troubled, any troubled kid out there, man, they can look at you and say, hey, man, I got a fighting chance to get myself out of the situation. All I got to do is make that choice. That's what you did, Crawford. You made that choice, man. You made that choice to change, bro. You know, you saw going down, man, years ago, man, in 2008, man, when that bullet came through that window, you knew you had to do something or you will end up 6 feet under, bro. You know? So that courage that you had, man, and that will that you had and that mindset to change, man, and the gym, you know, grooming you and turning you into a man, because that's what boxing does. See, people don't understand, man, that boxing is more than just throwing punches. You know, boxing teaches you discipline. You know, it teaches you love for people, love for others, man. You know, working together. You know, you're there constantly every single day, man. You know, spending time there perfecting a craft, man. Perfecting yourself. Understanding yourself, learning more about yourself each and every single day. You push it inside the gym. You know, boxing is more.
Oladipo offered a broader perspective on Floyd Mayweather's journey, saying it transcended boxing itself. Floyd crafted two personas, Pretty Boy Floyd and Money Mayweather, that captured the world's attention. As Pretty Boy, he was a fearless knockout artist. As Money, he became the ultimate businessman, mastering defensive boxing while turning fights into global spectacles. His pay-per-view dominance and marketing genius made him a phenomenon beyond sports. Oladipo credited Floyd for creating a business model modern boxers still follow, proving he wasn't just a fighter but a cultural icon who reshaped boxing's economy.
Sorry. He's a genius. He is a fucking... You know, when I get bored with today's crop of boxers, and Terence, to be fair, has kind of helped me out of my boredom, but sometimes I just go on YouTube and I watch the 24/7s, and then I watch the fight. I'm not joking, I watch the whole fucking episodes, and then I watch the fight. And my guy is a genius. A genius. There will always be an argument, oh, you should have fought that person then, and I get it. I get it, right? It's kind of the argument you can't throw at Muhammad Ali, right? You could throw that argument at Floyd. But dude, unbeaten is unbeaten. Unbeaten is unbeaten. Multi-weight world champion is multi-weight world champion. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a boxer so like, I'm gonna work you out, and then when I work you out, you're done. Shall I repeat that? I'm gonna work you out, and when I work you out, you're done. And Floyd had this thing where first 2 rounds, you think, oh shit, this guy's in this fighting, and then he works you out. And then he works you out. Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd was better than Money, but Money Floyd had obviously...
Despite Crawford's sensational win over Canelo, debate has swirled about his future. Some insiders argue he should retire now to protect his legacy, while others believe he still has more to prove. Supporters say he's already achieved greatness and doesn't need another fight. Critics argue his win is being overhyped, and retiring now would preserve his reputation. However, Crawford's recent performances show no decline, and fans want more. Regardless of whether he retires or continues, his status as one of boxing's all-time greats is already cemented.
Terence Crawford did what he did against Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford made himself the face of boxing, and he did it. He made it look easy. He made the Errol Spence fight look easy. That was supposed to be the toughest test of his career. I thought it was. The whole world thought it was. It was the easiest fight he had at welterweight. I thought, but I've been saying for years that he's going to easily beat Canelo Alvarez, and he did. But many people expected Canelo to knock him out. That wasn't the case. With that said, now people are trying to throw, he's 38. Tomorrow, Terence Crawford will be 38 years old. He's a 5-division champion. If he wants to stick around, like Terence Crawford stated, okay, Terence Crawford stated, if I do stick around, I'm not dropping down no further than 160 pounds. If he stays in boxing, I say he have 2 more fights. Fight Janibek, who's the unified champion. Hopefully Carl Sadamas and Lara fight and unify the belts. 2 fights at 160, pad the stats, become a 6-division champion and a 4-division undisputed champion. Cool. Other than that, Terence Crawford needs to retire.
Trainer Robert Garcia also weighed in, comparing Floyd and Crawford. He reminded fans that although Mayweather's record is unmatched, he never became an undisputed champion, something Crawford and Pacquiao achieved. Garcia acknowledged the historical weight of Crawford's resume but still leaned toward Mayweather in a head-to-head matchup. He argued that Floyd's defense, timing, and ring IQ would overwhelm even a fighter as skilled as Crawford. For Garcia, Mayweather's ability to nullify opponents makes him a nightmare for anyone.
With his accomplishments, the only man to ever do 3 weight divisions undisputed, is he now a part of the greatest of all time conversation? And not of this era, but of all time.
He definitely is the greatest, one of the greatest of all times. You know, there's still greats out there. There's still, you know, his era or last era, you know, with the Mayweathers, with the Pacquiaos. I think he's, you know, already accomplished more than Pacquiao was 8 divisions, so we have to, we could argue there because Pacquiao was, 8 division is almost impossible, and he did it. Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5-division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments,
Coach Greg Hackett compared Floyd's and Crawford's performances against Canelo. He noted that Floyd fought Canelo when he was already a polished master of his craft, while Crawford relied more on adaptability and aggression. Hackett said Floyd's execution and defensive perfection across 12 rounds remains unmatched. While Crawford's explosiveness is incredible, Mayweather's dominance represented near perfection. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith praised Crawford's victory as one of the most entertaining fights in years. He pointed out that Crawford was the smaller man moving up against a stronger opponent, yet made the fight look easy. For Smith, Crawford proved he's not just a great champion but also an entertainer who can carry boxing forward.
Biggest props of the night goes to Terence Crawford, who did not disappoint. He was supposed to be the smaller man. He was supposed to be the weaker man. He was supposed to be the man that was going to spend the entire night on his bicycle, running for his damn life because Saul Canelo Alvarez was coming his way. That is not what happened. What happened instead, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass in boxing by Terence Crawford. Now, to me, the fight, some people were saying it was a severely lopsided and stuff like that. I'm not going for that. I'm not feeling that at all. It wasn't like that at all, okay?
Veteran journalist Dan Raphael
reflected on Crawford's long-term legacy. He argued that Crawford doesn't need to fight anymore to validate his greatness. His record already speaks volumes. With multiple undisputed titles, victories over elite names, and historic milestones, Crawford's legacy is secure. Raphael warned that chasing unnecessary fights could risk tarnishing what he's already built. In his view, Crawford should now focus on enjoying his recognition as one of boxing's greatest legends, whether he continues fighting or steps away.
He's not moving anywhere from him. He's using his head moving, he's not being stupid, but he's not necessarily moving away from Canelo. Like you said, he's walking the, quote-unquote bigger man down and forcing the action rather than going off, reacting to Canelo's attacks. So I think it was such an impressive display, but it sort of begs the question now, when you're a three-time undisputed champion, and I know money's important, financials, we always talk about that, his legacy is intact regardless. We'll start with Terence, what does a Terence Crawford do now? Like, what's the next thing that he does? Because you look around and go, is the only way that he really gets that, maybe that ultimate chance if he goes up again? And do you say, what do you do?
I don't quite. Yeah, I mean, he was asked those questions at the press conference. He made two things clear. One, he's not going back to 154, and I say that because some people suggested about possibly pursuing a fight with Ennis, who has his debut in the weight class coming up.
Yeah.
That's probably unlikely. He's not going to go back down to weight. And I mean, no disrespect to Ennis, but Ennis is a guy that's known within the diehards of boxing. He's not in any way known beyond the boundaries of the hardcore boxing fans. So I don't know if that makes sense for a lot of different reasons for him. Not to say I wouldn't, as a boxing fan, enjoy watching the fight. So, but I don't think he's going back to 154. He was asked about like a Benavides at 175, and he acknowledged like that guy is really big. I mean, that's maybe a bridge too far. He already went up to 2 weight classes to fight Canelo at 68. So it feels to me like he could either stay at 168 and defend this championship and look to the same types of names that were being thrown around as the types of guys that would have been in the mix for Canelo had he won the fight. And
that wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more discussions and updates. Until next time.